Well, Lieutenant LeRae posed a question, Sergeant Trahan refused to answer it.
And why is it important that Sergeant Trahan provide Lieutenant LeRae with the name?
Well, I think it's significant in that. And I'll give you just a little background on this. After reading this, and of course, being in Indian gaming for as long as I have, and understanding that the relationship that we appreciate and we share, that was one thing that he wrote in his incident report that sort of just jumped out at me. Because typically, by him stating that a casino administrator inquired as to why Lieutenant LeRae was on property, quite honestly made no sense to me, because that's not the kind of relationship that we have, in that we are sensitive to one another's sovereignty. That's why I asked Lieutenant LeRae to pose that question to Sergeant Trahan with regards to who that person was.
And by asking Sergeant Trahan to provide the name, was Lieutenant LeRae giving him an order?
Yes.
Was there anything unlawful about that order?
No, ma'am. By and large, it can be disrupting to not only our objectives, our task, but the overall mission. Now, and it can cause a chain reaction of events that are unexpected and or even undesirable. So not only small matters, are, following orders important, also obviously in big matters. Now, we just simply do not have that luxury in state police to disobey a direct order.
Captain Van Buren, why was the name of the casino administrator so important to the original incident?
Because I perceived it to be deceptive.
I'm sorry, deceptive.
I perceived that statement to be deceptive, and personally I felt that he was lying about it. Because again, that's not the kind of relationship that we appreciate or have with our tribal counterparts. I don't know if anybody we work with at any of the three tribes that we co-regulate who would have asked that question. That just didn't make sense to me.
Captain Van Buren, can you tell us again why it was so important that you got the name of the casino administrator from Sergeant Trahan?
No, it was important to me because I felt that he was not being truthful, which in and of itself lends itself to one of our core values in state police, which is in fact integrity. And that's being truthful and honest and forthright in what we do. And so it became incredibly important to me. So where it wasn't necessarily part of the initial situation, it was thrust into the situation by the statement that was made regarding casino administrators asking why Lieutenant LeRae was on property. And so it became an issue for me, once again, why I questioned the truthfulness of that statement.
Did you ever get the name of the individual?
I did, much later.
And did you ever confront or speak to that person about the incident?
I did. I got the name of the individual. It was after the internal affairs investigation had been completed. And yes, I did contact the individual who, Jack Gordon, it was, who John gave the name to, gave up during the internal affairs investigation. I actually called Jack personally to verify that information, and was told that he did not question John about why Lieutenant LeRae was on property in his absence.
What impact has his refusal to answer the question that he raised to his lieutenant had on your command?
Well, it really didn't overly adversely affect my immediate command, but I can tell you this, as a result of my findings, Lieutenant Trahan has absolutely no credibility with me.
Is conferring with, if Lieutenant LeRae coming to you and conferring with you about every order that he gives Sergeant Trahan, is that practical?
That's not practical, no ma'am.
And why did you feel that this violation warranted an 8-hour suspension?
I'll honestly, I actually thought it warranted more, but that was the decision that was made by the disciplinary review committee, and I embrace it. It's a process, and I embrace the process.
So why did you feel it warranted discipline in general?
Because it's important that we obey lawful orders. Again, absent that, it can cause breakdowns in our process, and once again, it can result in unintended consequences and or undesirable consequences. We don't have the luxury of doing such.